Hello Summate, you're welcome to another beautiful video tutorial. So in this video, we'll be learning how to make this beautiful ball dress on my client's body. If this is what you want to know how to make, you can stick around. Let's get right into it. You can see the fittings and everything on her, and this is it on my dummy. Now the funny part is I didn't get to measure her. She's in Delta State. I'm in Lagos, so we just do video call and told her what to do, and they sent me the measurements and she got it and it was perfect on her. So this is it. Now my phone camera really didn't give me the details of this dress. I was so sad, but it's fine. So this is it on my dummy. So we'll be learning both the net part, how I made the net that is giving it this puffiness and everything. So let's get started. The first thing you need to do on your fresh pattern paper is your chest line. You get your chest line. Her chest line is 7.5. Now you can see that from the top of the tape, I minus 4 inches from it because it's enough shoulder. Now it depends on you. If it's 5 inches you want to remove, like you want it very low, you can remove 5 inches before you start your measurements of chest line. Do you get? She's on the small size, so I cannot reduce it more than that. And you saw it at the beginning of the video that it's sitting perfectly on her. So after that, I went ahead to get after the chest line, I got my apex line, which is the bust point. I got the under bust and I got the waistline. Do you get? So the next thing now is to take the shoulder measurement. Our shoulder measurement is 14, divided by 2 is 7. So I went ahead to impute the shoulder measurement on the chest line and at the shoulder line, which is the edge of the paper. So after that, I'll go ahead to impute her bust measurement, which is your bust circumference divided by 4. Then after doing that, the next thing I will be doing now, on the armhole curve line that we have like this on the upper part, I will be coming in by half an inch. You'll be asking why I did that. Is because I want the shoulder part to come in a bit before imputing the cape on it. I don't want it directly close to her armpit or for it to be entering her armpit. Do you understand? So that's why I'm making this curve. That's why I came in by half an inch. I will even advise you come in by 1 inch. It will be better because that one was still very close to her armpit, but it was beautiful like that. So I went ahead to take her nipple to nipple measurement, 3 inches, because her nipple to nipple measurement is 6. Now you have to divide it by 2 to get the straight line, which is the nipple to nipple point. So after doing that, we'll be doing the shoulder dart. Now I'm using 1 inch to the left and 1 inch to the right for the shoulder dart. Now on the apex line, you go up by half an inch and come in by half an inch. So I was meant to connect from the half inch I came up with, not the one I came down with, but I will correct it. So let's get to the armhole part. Remember, we removed 2 inches now as shoulder dart. We'll be cutting it away. Now you have to replace the 2 inches. Do you get? So now you can see I've marked the 2 inches back and I'm just using my curve ruler to reconnect the armhole line. Please don't make a mistake of not replacing your dart. This shoulder dart, the 2 inches I took as shoulder dart, you will see that we will cut it out. So please, you have to replace it because you'll be cutting it out. So that's our new armhole curve line. So after that, I will do my dart intake. So her dart intake is 2 inches. So I'm just doing equal dart, 1 inch to the left and 1 inch to the right, from the waistline to the under bust is where the dart intake will end. So you can see me connecting the dart intake from the waistline to the under bust. So after that, the next thing I will do now, I will have to connect from the under bust to the half inch I came down with. This is when I realized that I made a mistake with this shoulder dart that I connected. So you can see me wiping it off. Now I will be doing it correctly. You know, from the apex we came down by half inch and we went up by half inch. So the shoulder dart, now you have to connect it to this half inch we came up with. You can see what I'm doing. But the other one, I took it straight down, which is not meant to be so. Hope you understand and you're not confused. You can ask question, and I'll be dropping my number on the screen. you can come to my WhatsApp and also ask question if you don't understand. Do you get? So now I'm just reconnecting the straight line. So now to make the curve from the under bust to the apex half inch I came down with, you see how I'm placing my ruler, please. Don't miss it. So you place your pattern master ruler like this and you curve it. You make sure that it is not too sharp. Why did we come down by half inch from the bust point line? It's because you don't want that sharp edge that will give you this pointy nipple part on your bustier. Do you get? So that's why. So the next thing, I'm taking my waist measurement, the 2 inches I use for that intake, I will add it to it. Do you get? Then I'm going ahead to add 1.5 for my seam allowance. On the upper part, I will add 1.5 for my seam allowance because we've taken the bust measurement before. So after doing that, now we need to take the side dart. So the side dart, it is on the apex part. You will, on the apex line, the bust point line, you will go up by 1 inch. You will come to the other side by 1 inch. You can see me connecting the side dart line. Please, anyhow you know how to do your side dart, it will still come out well. Some people from the bust point, they just do 2 inches down as the side dart. It still comes out well, but this is my own method. Do you understand? And it works perfectly well for me. So now that 2 inches we've used as side dart, we'll be creasing it away, we'll be cutting it away. You have to replace it because if your half length is 15 inches and you remove 2 inches from the side, you did not replace it, it will go to 13 abi. So that's what I did, and I reconnected the lines to the new 2 inches I added to it. Do you understand? I returned the 2 inches and I reconnected the lines. Please don't make that mistake. Always return your dart. Any dart you remove from your dress, please, on your pattern paper, please don't forget to return it, okay? So now I will go ahead and cut. You can see I wanted to just cut it exactly as the line, but I had to go forward because we have to crease the side that away. That's what I told you, and that's why we added extra 2 inches. So the side that now will be creasing it away. So for you to crease it away, you will slit open to the bust point part. So you can see how I'm also slitting the side dart to the bust point area also. So you flip it up like this on top of the upper dart line, then you just tape it down. Whatsoever tape you have, you just tape it down. If you don't have tape, you can pin it down, but tape is better at this point. So now you can see how I'm taping it down. Now after taping it down like this, you see that the side dart will ended up eliminating the side dart, right? We've eliminated the side dart. So the next thing for us to do now is to just cut everything out. You can see that I'm cutting from my new armhole line. So I will just go ahead and cut everything out. The shoulder dart, I told you we'll be removing the shoulder dart because we've already replaced it. So I will slit it. I will slit one part of it, flip it on top of each other, then I will create the neckline before we finally separate it. Do you understand? So now this is it. You can see I'm placing it on each shoulder. It has to be on this other shoulder dart line that we created. You see I'm placing it, then tape it down also. So after taping it down, you create your neckline. Now this dress, it has like a sweetheart neckline at the middle. It's because she's holding a flower, you really didn't get to see the center part of it. And I haven't gotten any other photo aside from that one from her. If not, I would have showed us exactly what it looks like on the, and you saw it on the dummy, and you saw it on the dummy. So it has sweetheart neckline. So I'm just trying to check if my pattern master ruler can give me the curve I want and the way I want it, because for the neckline pattern, she actually sent me a picture and it was the picture I followed to make it. So you can see how I'm determining it. So from the chest line, I came up by half inch because I know if I put it directly on the chest line, it will just expose, though she's not busting, but I came up by half inch to be on a safer side. Do you get? So now you can see that I now use my armhole curve ruler to do it because it gave me the perfect curve I want. So this is me cutting it out, and I'll just go ahead and cut everything out, and we're done with the front pattern like this. So the next part now, we'll be heading to the back pattern. Now on the back pattern, the same thing we did for the front pattern. I minus the 4 inches from the upper part of the tape to get my 7.5 for her chest line. Then I went ahead to get the waist measurement. Now I don't want us to waste time on the back pattern because this video is very bulky, because I want to touch every detail part of it. Then I went to take her shoulder measurement, then I just ruled to get her armhole line. Then the next thing, now I will impute her bust measurement before doing my armhole curve. So I imputed the bust measurement. I will add the seam allowance to it also. Then I will just use the armhole curve. So we're not coming in by 1/2 inch because this is the back. Do you understand? So you just curve it this way. So for the front pattern, I imputed the waist measurement, the 1 inch we are taking for that, and the 1.5 for my seam allowance. So now I wanted to extend the dart upwards by 5 inches like we do for our normal basic bodice pattern, but no, I'm extending it to the upper part because I'm using eyelet for the back of the dress. Do you get? So this is me connecting it straight up to the chest line, the normal dart intake that we normally do. So now on the chest line, for me to get the back neckline on the chest line, I came down by 1/2 inch from the chest line. Can you see it? So now from that 1/2 inch I came down with, I will connect it straight to the armhole line that we have at the side, like so. So after connecting it this way, the next thing, I will go ahead and cut it out, and the back pattern is done. You can see how quick and fast it is. So now we'll be going to the next part of the video, which is the cutting. Now we'll be doing the cape of the dress. You know it has a cape. So this is me cutting everything out, and the front and the back pattern is ready like this. So for the part, this part, I almost tore it up, so I have to tape it back. So after getting the front and the back pattern ready, the next thing we'll be doing now is to get the sleeve for the off shoulder, just like a strap that you will attach from the on the armhole part from the front to the back. Now we have to make the sleeve where the cape will be resting on. So let's say a strap where the cape will be resting on. Now for us to do that, you need her round shoulder measurement, your client's round shoulder measurement. Now the client I'm working with, her round shoulder measurement is 39 inches. So I will go ahead and impute the 39 inches because we have to do the right calculation to get the right volume of sleeve that will sit well on her, that will not fall from her shoulder, that will not be too tight on her shoulder. Do you get? So 39 inches is our round shoulder measurement. Don't forget, for the front pattern, I used 7 inches for her shoulder measurement, and I came in by 0.5, which made it 6.5 as the shoulder measurement. So 6.5 by 6.5 will give you 13 inches. So it means the shoulder measurement we got for the front is 13 inches. Now for the back, I used 7 inches for the back, and I didn't come in. I used the exact 7 inches for the shoulder. So it means 7.7 now will give us 14 inches. Do you understand? So now 14 plus 13 will give you 27. So it means for the front and back, we've gotten 27 from the full round shoulder measurement. So now to get the volume, the amount of sleeve we need, you minus the 37 from the 39, it will give you 12. Now that 12, you have to divide it into 2 because you are making the sleeve for the both sides, the left hand side and the right hand side, and that will give you 6 inches. So this is what I'm showing us. This is the front and the back. So now after dividing the 12 into 2, we have 6 inches. Now that 6 inches is what we'll be distributing for the front and the back. to the left, to the front, and back to the right, which means it is 3 inches. Do you understand? So now, how do you get that done? The first thing you have to do, you can see that I rule a straight line, and don't forget that the length is 3 inches, right? So I'll just go ahead and measure 3 inches. So after measuring 3 inches, you can see me ruling a straight line to measure 3 inches. I will determine the width of the strap I'm creating, or should I say a band. So I will now determine the width, and I'm using 2 inches as the width. I will also go ahead and measure 3 inches. I will connect it straight like this, then also connect it straight to the edge of the paper. You can see the way I've squared it down. Now what I want to show us here, if you do your strap like this, like you just cut it straight like this and place it on your dress, your client will not be able to raise her hand, or you are making it for yourself, you won't be able to raise her hand. So this is why you see some off shoulder with strap, like the client cannot raise their hands up because they didn't give them that space for them to raise their hand up, because the allowance is not there. So if you place it like this, you can see that you will not even have enough allowance on the armhole area. So that's what I was just illustrating with that part. So now let's go to do it the right way. So fold your paper into two, because of course you know we are cutting it on fold. We are using 3 inches. By the time you open it is 6 inches. It is set for the front and the back. So the first thing, now measure your 3 inches, which is the full length of the strap you're working with. Then you determine the just go ahead and determine the width of the band. So I'm just pulling the iron on the tape away. So you determine the width of the band. After determining the width of the band, it is still the same 2 inches that I will use as the width of the band. So please, if you really want to see everything detail by detail, don't miss any part of the video, because I really took my time to make sure that I touch every part of it. So I've gotten the length and I've gotten the width. I'm just going to square it up. So now, what's the difference between this one I'm doing and the other one? So I'm labeling it, the upper part and the lower part, which is up and down. Do you get? So the next thing you have to do now is, on the lower part, you will come forward by 1.5 of an inch. You will extend it on the down part, which is the lower part of the strap you're creating. Extend it by 1.5 of an inch and use your curve ruler. You will now connect it straight to the upper part, the 3 inches on the upper part. Just like we curve the armhole, that's how you will curve it. So it is this curvy part now you will also attach to the armhole part of the main bodice that we just finished drafting. Do you understand? So now you have to add your extra half an inch to it when you're cutting, because you know you will need half an inch to join it to the main bodice we just finished working on. Do you get? So now this is it. This is the strap. I've gotten the strap ready, and this is what we have. Can you see what it looks like? So by the time you raise it and you place it like this, you can see that there is space on the armhole area. Do you understand? So this is why you need to do it the right way, so you don't have issues, because this thing actually was so nice on my client. Like, she had no complaint at all. Do you get? So you make sure you create that opening that will enable her raise her armpit very well. So next step is the cape. So to work on the cape, you will go ahead to attach the strap that we've just created to the front and the back pattern. You can see that it's already attached here. So this is me just remeasuring it to confirm if the round shoulder measurement is complete, because you know this is part of it. So you get a fresh pattern paper, you arrange it, like don't make it straight too, just arrange it in a way that it will give you the curve, the shoulder and curve that we did. Do you get? So you can see me, I've arranged it on a fresh pattern paper, and I'm just taping it down so that it will allow me create the cape I want to create. Because this part that we just finish working on is to get a strap that will move from the back armhole to the front armhole where the cape will rest on. So after taping everything down like this, I'll go ahead and trace it out with my tracing wheel, because the fresh pattern we have is what we'll be cutting the cape on, because this one I have to use it to cut the front and the back on the material, so I cannot cut on it to get the cape. So I went ahead to trace on the fresh paper. So the next thing now is to determine the width of the cape. How wide do I want the cape? Now she sent me a picture, do you get? So I was working with the picture in my head, and from the beginning of the video you can see that the cape is wider from the back and it gradually became thin at the center front, if you see on the dummy, because on her body she covered it with flour. So I'm using 3.5. After using 3.5, at a point when I was getting to the back armhole line, I changed it to 3 inches. So as I was approaching to the front, I was reducing the weight of the cape. Do you get? I was reducing the weight of the cape. So I'll just go ahead and do the remaining part. Then I will show us how far I've gone. I'll just go ahead and trace the remaining part off camera. So this is what I got. Like I told you, the front is tinier. Can you see? You can see that the shape of the cape is already formed. So this is the center front. It is small, so I use 1.5 for the center front. Then I was increasing it gradually to the back so that it will meet, it will match. Do you get? So the back cape is bigger than the front cape because of how she wants it. So this is me tracing it out. So after tracing it all out, I will go ahead and remove the front and the back pattern from the fresh paper. Then I will now use my pencil to highlight it. I've gone ahead to remove it. So what I will do now, because you cannot see the traces I made with the tracing wheel, but I saw it is very visible, so I will just trace. The tracing wheel line is what I'm tracing. I'm highlighting with my pencil. So after highlighting it like this, I will go ahead and cut it off. Then after cutting it off, for you not to be so confused of what we've done so far, we are just going to tape it on the front pattern paper so that you understand what we've done so far. Okay, so you can see this is the front and the back pattern that we used in tracing the cape right now. So I'm trying to remove the tape so I can tape the cape to it so that you will see exactly what we've done, so that you understand. Don't forget that the first part, the first strap we created was to create a space for the cape to rest on. Do you understand? So now that we've created that one and we've already gone ahead to create the cape also, I'm just tipping it down for us to show us what we've done so far, so that you will have a clear picture of where we are heading to. So this is it after taping it down. So the next part now is to go ahead and cut, and I will be showing us the materials I actually used to achieve the style. So this is it. You can see how nice it is, that it is already coming out nicely. You can see the cape. It went up where the armhole part will be able to allow her raise her arm. Do you get? Everything came out perfectly well, and this is what we have. So these are the materials I used. This one is an excellent satin. It has 160 for the length. Then this is the lace I used, the flower lace I used. I used 3 yards for it. Then I have my doll face. I used my doll face. Of course, I use eyelet, I use bunny and all those things, which you will see me use in the video. So let's go ahead and cut. So I've gone ahead to cut. Now you can see that I added half an inch on the upper part, on the lower part of it. I added half an inch around the cape. Do you get? So for the front pattern, this is what we have for the front pattern. I also added half an inch to the center part of it that you will use to join the pieces together. Please don't forget to add your half inches to everything. So this is the front, This is the center front, so we'll be going ahead to join, but I will go ahead to cut my hairstay and attach my wording to it. So I've gone ahead to iron my hairstay to the fabric and I've attached my wording to it. If you don't know how to add the right volume of wording to your bustier, I will drop the link in the description box for you. So to save time, I didn't show that part in this video. So I will just go ahead and join everything together to save time. Do you understand? So after joining it, this is what we have. This is the front pattern. You can see how nice it is. You can see the wording part. You can see how nice it is. I also went ahead to cut a closure for the back pattern because I will be needing a closure for it. So the next thing now, I attached boning to it. I attached boning to the front. So I'll just go ahead and measure the volume, the length of boning I need. Then I will cut it. I'll go ahead and sew the boning on it. So please, for the front and back, I went ahead to attach boning to it. Can you see? So now this, I have all of my boning cut out. This is what I have. So I will go ahead and attach. This is the back pattern. Now, as much boning as you want is what you will use, but I didn't use much. For the front, I just kept on the area where we join the both the center front to the side front. Only those two parts was where I added boning on the front, but I made sure that the boning is starting from where the wording ended. Do you get? Then half an inch above. It doesn't have to be the same length. Remove half an inch so that you'll be able to join the half length of this gown now to the ball part that we'll be working on. So here is my closure. Please, I didn't do a detailed video of this closure because of time. If you want to know how to make a closure, I will also be dropping the link in the description box. I have a very detailed video on how to make a closure. So you can see me putting my closure and I am just sewing the closure to the lining. I'm attaching the closure to the lining of the back. So I made sure that on the upper part of it, I left half an inch. Then on the lower part, I also left half an inch because we'll be joining this half length to the ball part. So that half an inch I left, I did a tightening. I have to come again to start another stitch from the lower part again after I have pushed the closure aside. Do you get? So that's what I'm trying to do, because I cannot run it straight. I'll be running the closure with it, and I don't want to join the closure with the lower part of the gown. Do you understand? So I've gone ahead to attach the closure to the lining for the back, and this is what we have. The closure is already done, so we'll be going to the next step of the video. So after making the closure, the next thing is the strap. Now for the strap, now I used 1 inch. I just run a straight stitch. I just got a very long material from the excellent fabric material I'm using for the dress. So I just run a straight stitch. So this is me using my office pin to turn it over to the other side. I will go off the camera and do the pullover. After pulling it over, I'll show you the outcome. Now, if you have loop turner, please, I will suggest you make yours tinier than this. I don't have loop turner as at when I was making this video, so that's why I use my safety pin. I would have loved the straps to be tinier so that my looping rope will be tinier, but it came out well though. So this is it, and please, it was 1 inch I used to make the strap. I will just go off the camera and turn everything. Then I will show us the outcome. Then we will now go to the next part of the video, which is the very most important part. It's part of the most important part of it. So this is the strap. So after getting the strap, now this is the front after joining it together and attaching the boning like we did earlier. So how did we get it from this to this? Now, you'll be asking me why I didn't add lace to it before joining it. It's because I don't want the joining part to show. I have to drape on it. Now, wedding dress of these days, you don't even see the stitches. That's because they drape on it. So how did I achieve this? It will start from part 2. So I'll be showing us how I draped on the front and back, attached the looping rope and cut the lower part in part 2. So if you want to see this, please stick around in part 2.